Okay, so here is my depiction or my interpretation of Halsey's like basic makeup look. And basically I just filmed it and I'm doing a voiceover. Right now I'm skipping my NCLEX prep thing, but it's complete bullshit anyways, so all of the makeup I use is cruelty-free, so it's not tested on animals, and all of my makeup is that way. And all of your makeup should be too, because it's actually really easy to find cruelty-free makeup and it's really affordable. And so I listed in the down bar and in the video which products I used, and so this is the finished look. My lighting's kind of decent. I know Halsey has kind of switched up her makeup lately, but I'm gonna put a picture in here that shows you like what I went off of. And I think this is the more like classic, casual Halsey makeup. Like this is wearable, you could wear it to class, which is where I'm going to after I finish this. Hopefully they don't notice I was gone for like a full half an hour. But yep, I hope you guys like it. I was gonna do falsies, but they actually looked terrible, so I figured my natural eyelashes were enough. Alright, I'll try not to make this too long, and let's get started. Okay, the first thing I'm doing is putting on foundation, which is the Sonia Kashuk Perfecting Luminous Foundation, which is good because Halsey doesn't really look like she's wearing foundation at all. She may or may not be, but my skin is not perfect like Halsey's. So this is like a good light to medium coverage. It has like a luminous finish, so it's not matte, which is ideal because Halsey's skin doesn't really look matte. It looks very glowy and beautiful. And yes, I'm using my fingers. I don't really believe in brushes for applying foundation. Doesn't really do any good for me, so just do it the old-fashioned way. Blend it in a bunch onto my neck. Get it all perfect. And then next, I'm going to grab some concealer. The name of my concealer is All Covered Up. It's Sonia Kashuk. Comes in a cute little pot. And it's very good stuff. Super pigmented. And I just use that for all the areas of my face that are discolored and fucked up. So I can be perfect like Halsey. And I'm just using my fingers for this too. Then I have another concealer that is super magical. It's made by Fergie / Wet n Wild. It says Celebrity Concealer. See, the shade is Fair, and it's super, super crazy pigmented, so I use like a tiny amount. And I put it under my eyes because it's just like a hair lighter than my skin tone, so it helps with my horrendous bags. But this stuff is like super amazing quality, and it was like probably $4 at Walgreens. So definitely a worthy investment. Okay, that is my Wet n Wild Cover All pressed powder in Fair. And I'm not trying to mattify my face, I was just setting my under eye concealer and lightly setting the rest of my makeup. Okay, now brows. That is the Pixi Natural Duo Brow in Deep Brunette, and it's super fancy. It has like a pencil thing on one end and then like a tinted brow gel on the other. I am no brow expert. If you want a brow expert, there's approximately 100 other videos on YouTube you can watch. But basically, Halsey's eyebrows are pretty bold and defined. They're lighter in the middle, and they get darker towards the ends. So I'm just kind of doing an outline of my brows and then filling them in afterwards. And right at this point, my friend knocked on the door to take me to class. So I did the other brow, I just penciled it in the same as the first one. And the next step, I'm just taking the brow mascara stuff, and basically that just serves the function of keeping your brows in place. And it kind of fills them in just a little bit. Yeah, brows are like kind of my weakness, but close enough. Okay, we are moving on. Oh yeah, I have to pinch my brows, okay. The Sonia Kashuk Neutral Matte Palette. This is like $20, which is a little expensive, but it's good quality. I got it, it's at Target, and I use it probably every day. So I'm taking the kind of a lightish neutral shade and using it as a base and just putting it all over the lid. That's like a little Eco Tools flat, I don't know, it's kind of like a flat brush. I'm not really blending it, I'm just kind of packing it on the lid. Can't really see it, but it serves its purpose. And then next I'm taking this cool pinky color with the same brush and just putting that all over the lid. It's kind of dusty, that's why I was tapping it off. Otherwise it'll fly all over my face. Doesn't really have to be perfect. And next up, I'm switching brushes. This is a brush I got at Claire's. It's actually super high quality, but that's just like a dense little blending brush, and I'm taking that matte brown shade mixed with the pinkish shade and just blending that into the crease and like in a little V shape. And Halsey's, she doesn't really wear noticeable or dramatic eyeshadow most of the time. Like if you look at her Instagram pictures, it's usually it's matte and it's pretty subtle. So you could make this darker if you wanted to, but if you're trying to be super authentic Halsey, then I wouldn't, because she's not one to have like a dramatic smoky eye or anything. So I'm doing the same on this eye, and then going back in with the matte brown by itself, just darkening it up a little bit, but again, not too dramatic. And be careful not to put too much product on your brush, because you're going to end up with a hot mess. Everything needs to be super blended and kind of subtle. So I'm taking the little end of that brush, and this is the closest we're getting to eyeliner here. I took the brown shade and I'm just kind of packing that into the roots of my lashes. You can barely notice it, but this adds like a little bit of definition. And then you can kind of put as much or as little as you want. I built it up just a little bit because it wasn't picking up on camera, but it was a little more noticeable in person. And if you're really ambitious, you could probably get the brush wet and it might be a little darker, but like I said, Halsey is just not really the queen of eyeliner, so I wasn't trying to be about that life for this tutorial. Yep, and just make sure you blend everything. Harsh lines are not cute. And I'm just going through and blending more with no product on my brush. Okay, that's like a kind of like a smaller tapered brush, and I'm putting that in the pink and putting that on the lower lid, kind of right along the roots. It's not a very dark shade, so you can be pretty messy with this. Then I go back and add the kind of warm brown color just to darken it up. You can make this part darker too if you want. I was going for a more subtle look, but you can keep building. Yep, I added a little bit of the matte brown just in the corners and kind of connected it to the top lashes. Okay. So I skipped the falsies. We'll explain why later. But I'm just curling my lashes because just Halsey always has very like open eyes, super long lashes. She wears falsies pretty much every day, but in order to mimic the falsies look, I'm just like squeezing the shit out of my eyelashes and making sure they're sticking up nice and straight. Then that is my e.l.f. mineral infused mascara, and it's like $3 and super good quality, does not clump, super buildable, and I'm not going crazy. I'm just doing one coat, kind of just taking it easy, adding a little more. You don't want to just completely load your lashes with mascara because it'll look clumpy and freaky and it'll end up just weighing them down. So I'm just getting into the roots and wiggling the brush up and then hitting the bottom lashes. You don't really want to go overboard there either. But Halsey's look is definitely super lashy, so trying to imitate that. Okay, that's the end of my falsie disaster, and so I'm just putting one more coat of mascara on. The falsies were not even longer than my natural eyelashes, so I just decided it wasn't worth it. Plus, who has time for that anyways? Yeah, and I screwed up a little bit. Okay, now the fun part. Halsey's entire face is like sculpted like an angel or a statue. So my face is a giant blob and I need to contour it. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Contouring Palette in Dulce de Leche. And the highlighter side is complete shit, but the contour part is excellent because it's like a cool, it's not a bronzer, it's like a cool brown color, but it's not too dark. And I'm taking this flat top foundation brush and kind of blending it, or creating a harsh line from like my ear down to my mouth. And then taking this fluffier brush and blending it out. That way it's still noticeable, but you don't look freaky. And you have to kind of, I always start light and just build it up, because you never want to go overboard with contouring. You will look like a clown. That brush is supposed to be a foundation brush, but of course I don't use it for that. But I think it does a good job with this. Then I'm taking that brownish shade and kind of using it as a bronzer just a tiny bit on my forehead. And now I have to carve out my double chin and try to have a razor sharp jawline like Halsey. So we'll do our best with that same flat brush and starting like behind the ear so nobody will see any lines, and just going all around the jawline. Make it kind of strong but not too crazy. And I feel like that really does help the blob face double chin look, at least for me. Okay, now the fun part. We are going to use that, it's like a pinky color. It's not as dark as it looks in the palette, but it's kind of like a light blush. Halsey's not big on blush, but this one almost functions more as a highlighter. And I just put that kind of right above the contour and blended it in. Because my face is super sallow and I need to warm it up a little bit or I'll look dead. So I'm just using that fluffy Eco Tools brush and blending everything in super nice because we don't want to look freaky. Okay, now I'm taking that eyeshadow brush I used before in that it's like a super light shimmery pink shadow, and I'm putting that below my brow and in the inner corner of my eye. That is a really nice highlight, and then I'm doing a cute thing where I'm blending it onto the top of my cheekbone. So it's like a continuous shimmer. And if you look at Halsey's Instagram, she is like shimmer princess. Like not in a tacky way, but just like her highlight game is on point. So there's going to be a lot of highlighting going on. So we did that on both sides. Then I'm grabbing my other highlighter. This is also made by Miss Fergie, Wet n Wild. So it calls it a shimmer palette, I suppose, and Rose Champagne Glow. So that's just, it's like a highlighter. Light, light pink. And I'm putting that on the tops of my cheekbones, down my nose, above my lip, on my chin, like everywhere. I'm very liberal with my highlight. I use my finger to like make it a little stronger, put it above my brow. My skin's pretty dry, so I don't have to worry about looking oily. I guess maybe if you do, you wouldn't want to go so heavy on the highlighter, but for me, it works. Okay, and last is lips, and I find Halsey's like lip color kind of hard to nail. So I use two lipsticks, both by Sonia Kashuk. They're like super moisturizing, have SPF 15. One is nude pink, that's the first one I used. And the other one is Roseberry, and that's a little darker. I didn't overdraw my lips because I don't think Halsey does. I mean, her lips are fuller than mine, but I wanted to look fairly natural. So I just kind of rubbed my lips together, and that naturally kind of made them look fuller. But I thought that was alright. Hope you guys enjoyed it.